Okay, this is rabies like you have never seen before. With the permission of the patient's father, he was bitten by a dog plus or minus 2 weeks ago. He supposedly got all his rabies vaccines, but the patient started behaving this way today. Foaming at the mouth, odd behavior, barking like a dog.
Welcome, brave viewers, to a journey into the depths of darkness and despair. Today, we confront a silent killer lurking in the shadows, ready to strike without mercy. Rabies, a word that strikes fear into the hearts of all who hear it. But do we truly understand the horror that lies within? Join me as we peel back the layers of mystery and reveal the terrifying and painful truth of the rabies virus. Imagine, if you will, a world where every scratch, every bite, carries with it the potential for unimaginable suffering, where the very air we breathe becomes a source of terror, and the most innocent of creatures transform into agents of death. In this realm of nightmares, there is no escape, no respite from the relentless onslaught of agony. For those unfortunate souls who fall prey to the rabies virus, every moment is a battle against the relentless tide of madness and despair. But fear not, dear viewers, for knowledge is our greatest weapon against the darkness. Together, we shall shine a light into the abyss and confront the terror that lurks within. Welcome once again to the harrowing tale of the rabies virus.
There's an extensive rabies outbreak in the Eastern Cape from the beginning of January last year to date. Around 400 cases have been reported in the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality.
County government has confirmed an outbreak of rabies in Tachasis area of Koitagich Ward, Kuresoi South Sub-County of Nakuru County. According to Nakuru County Agriculture CEC Leonard Bohr, health officers have been dispatched to the area to assess the situation and mitigate spread of the disease. Residents have been warned against eating uninspected meat.
But why, you may ask, should we subject ourselves to such tales of terror and woe? Why delve into the darkness when we could turn a blind eye and pretend that the danger does not exist? The answer, my friends, lies in the power of knowledge and the importance of awareness. For only by understanding the true scope of the threat posed by rabies can we hope to combat it effectively. Rabies is not merely a relic of the past, a distant memory consigned to the annals of history. It is a very real and present danger, with devastating consequences for those who fall victim to its grasp.
Hey guys, this is a case of rabies, and the symptom which we see here is hydrophobia. So what is hydrophobia? So hydrophobia is called as the extreme or irrational fear of water. So this patient had a dog bite 6 months back, and it was a pet dog, and parents didn't give him vaccine. And during this incubation period, the rabies virus spread and it caused these odd symptoms. Then this boy was shifted to Pune, and unfortunately he died. So this video is actually to make awareness among the society that even if there is any kind of dog bite or dog scratches, give them rabies vaccine. This will save the patient's life. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.
The rabies virus, it's quite a miserable disease. The virus travels up to the brain of the infected person, and death then follows. But it can be something like fatigue, headache, fever. Those can be initial symptoms, and then it can progress into hallucinations, light sensitivity, hydrophobia, fear of water, and it's all connected with things that go wrong in the brain. It is essentially going to making somebody crazy, and certainly making these animals also crazy. They behave completely abnormal, completely aggressive. This hypersalivation that you get, this is in humans and in animals.
Rabies is a preventable disease, yet it continues to claim thousands of lives each year. Through education and vaccination campaigns, we can work together to eliminate this scourge once and for all. So let us not turn away from the darkness, but instead, let us face it head-on with courage and resolve. By raising awareness about rabies and its impact on human health, we can empower ourselves and others to take action and protect our communities from this deadly threat.
Why are you guys yarring each other? Get off of me if you're gonna yar each other. Jesus Christ. Ah, why are you yarring me? Why are you yarring me? Why'd she yar you? You guys are freaking psychos.
Now that we have set the stage, let us delve into the heart of darkness itself. Rabies. What is this insidious disease that strikes fear into the hearts of all who hear its name? Rabies is a viral disease, a silent assassin that infiltrates the very core of our being. It targets the central nervous system, hijacking our very thoughts and desires until we are but slaves to its malevolent will. The most common method of transmission is through the bite or scratch of an infected animal, particularly dogs, bats, raccoons, and other wildlife.
Ow, motherfucker! Son of a bitch got me. Ow! Goddamn coyotes!
The virus enters the body through broken skin or mucous membranes, where it begins its sinister journey towards the brain. Rabies is a zoonotic disease, meaning it can be transmitted from animals to humans.
Something truly terrifying. That's a fox sneaking up on a woman in her front yard. From this angle, you can see the attack. She kicks the fox over and over, but the animal keeps coming back. It's biting her legs and scratching her arms as she tries to break free.
The more I tried to get him to leave me alone, the more voraciously he came after me. He just wouldn't stop. And my fear was that he was going to trip me up and I would fall and he would attack my face.
But then her neighbor shows up with a stick, and at last the fox retreats.
I will be grateful to him for the rest of my life, and I just thank God that he heard me.
Sure enough, the fox was later caught and it tested positive for rabies. Sherry Russo was treated right away, and so far she says she's showing no signs that she contracted rabies.
Rabies is a viral disease that is almost always fatal if not treated immediately. If you get bitten or even scratched by a rabid animal, you need to go immediately to the doctor.
Sherry is going to be fine, but what a traumatic experience.
It felt like it was going to last forever.
Vaccinating our pets and practicing responsible pet ownership are crucial steps in preventing the spread of rabies to humans.
Tico, what's wrong, boy? What's wrong, boy? Tico, what's wrong, boy?
But beware, dear viewers, for the danger does not end there. Rabies is a patient predator, lying in wait within the depths of our subconscious until its moment of reckoning arrives. The incubation period of rabies can vary from days to months, with symptoms often taking weeks or even months to manifest. During this time, the virus silently replicates within the nervous system, biding its time until it can unleash its full fury upon its unsuspecting victim. And when the symptoms finally emerge, they are nothing short of a descent into madness itself. Join us, dear viewers, as we journey deeper into the darkness and uncover the true horrors of rabies. Having uncovered the origins of rabies and its methods of transmission, let us now journey deeper into the heart of darkness and explore the pathophysiology of this insidious disease. Once the rabies virus gains entry into the body through a bite or scratch from an infected animal, it embarks on a sinister journey along nerve fibers towards its ultimate destination, the brain.
The best thing you can do is, if it's a domestic animal, a dog or a cat, get the owner's information. If you are bitten or scratched by a potentially rabid animal, and that could really even be your neighbor's cat or your neighbor's dog, you want to make sure first and foremost you clean the wound with soap and water and then seek medical attention. You also want to call your health department because your health department will follow up on the history of even a domestic animal to make sure they've had their rabies shots and that you're not going to need to go for rabies treatment. If you witness someone being bitten by a potential rabid animal, you want to make sure that you advise them to seek medical attention. If you want to help them, you can help them clean the wound with soap and water, simple as that. As long as that domestic animal, a dog or a cat, is alive and well after 10 days since it bit your friend or the person that you witnessed getting bitten, that person will not have to go for rabies shots.
The rabies virus is neurotropic, meaning it has a predilection for nerve tissue. Upon reaching the brain, it hijacks the host's cellular machinery, replicating rapidly and spreading throughout the central nervous system. As the virus multiplies within the brain, it triggers a cascade of inflammatory responses, leading to swelling, edema, and destruction of neurons. This inflammatory process disrupts normal brain function and gives rise to the characteristic symptoms of rabies. The effects of rabies on the central nervous system are nothing short of a descent into madness itself. From confusion and agitation to hallucinations and paralysis, the symptoms of rabies are a grim reminder of the toll exacted by this relentless foe. As we delve deeper into the heart of darkness that is rabies, let us now turn our attention to its clinical presentation. The harrowing stages through which the disease unfolds like a macabre symphony of suffering. Rabies manifests in 3 distinct stages, each more terrifying than the last. The prodromal stage marks the onset of early symptoms, followed by the excitative stage characterized by agitation and aggression. And finally, the paralytic stage, where progressive paralysis sets in. During the prodromal stage, patients may experience flu-like symptoms such as fever, headache, and malaise. As the disease progresses, they become increasingly agitated and combative, displaying erratic behavior and aggression. But it is in the excitative stage that the true horror of rabies is revealed. Victims are consumed by an unrelenting terror, gripped by hallucinations and delusions that warp their perception of reality. Hydrophobia, the fear of water, becomes their constant torment as even the sight or sound of liquids triggers paroxysms of terror. In the paralytic stage, the ravages of rabies reach their nadir. Victims succumb to a silent agony as their muscles waste away, leaving them helpless and immobile. Death, when it finally comes, is a merciful release from the torment of the rabies virus. And so, dear viewers, we bear witness to the cruel and unforgiving nature of rabies. As we confront the horrors of rabies, it becomes painfully clear that early diagnosis and prompt treatment are our only weapons against this relentless foe. But how does one diagnose and treat a disease as insidious as rabies? Diagnosing rabies requires specialized laboratory testing of samples such as saliva, serum, or brain tissue. Polymerase chain reaction PCR assays can detect the presence of rabies virus genetic material, while immunofluorescence assays can identify viral antigens. In many parts of the world, particularly in rural and remote areas, access to diagnostic facilities and trained personnel is limited. This poses a significant challenge to the timely diagnosis and treatment of rabies, often resulting in delays and missed opportunities for intervention.
The laboratory is recognised as an international reference laboratory involved in the global fight to eradicate rabies. The vast majority of human rabies cases, more than 99% of these, result from the bite from an infected dog. So the most effective way to eliminate human rabies, therefore, is to control canine rabies. And mass vaccination campaigns have facilitated the elimination of rabies in carnivores in several countries worldwide.
For individuals who may have been exposed to rabies, prompt post-exposure prophylaxis PEP is critical. This regimen typically consists of a series of rabies vaccine injections, along with rabies immune globulin for immediate protection against the virus. By administering PEP within a timely manner after exposure, we can prevent the rabies virus from taking hold and save lives. But time is of the essence, and every moment counts in the fight against this deadly disease. As we continue our journey into the heart of darkness that is rabies, let us remember the importance of early diagnosis, prompt treatment, and vigilant prevention efforts. As we confront the grim realities of rabies, it becomes abundantly clear that prevention is our strongest defense against this deadly disease. But how can we protect ourselves and our loved ones from the scourge of rabies? One of the most effective ways to prevent rabies is through vaccination, particularly for pets such as dogs and cats. By ensuring that our furry companions are up to date on their rabies vaccinations, we can create a protective barrier against the spread of the virus. Rabies vaccination is not only crucial for the health and safety of our pets, but also for the well-being of our communities. By vaccinating our pets, we can prevent the spread of rabies to humans and other animals, ultimately saving lives. In addition to vaccinating our pets, there are several other strategies we can employ to prevent rabies exposure in humans. Avoiding contact with wild or stray animals, refraining from feeding or approaching wildlife, and seeking medical attention promptly after animal bites or scratches are all essential steps in protecting ourselves and our communities. By working together and taking proactive measures to prevent rabies, we can create a safer and healthier world for ourselves and future generations. As we peer into the abyss of rabies, we cannot ignore the staggering toll it exacts on our world. From the bustling streets of megacities to the remote villages of the countryside, rabies knows no bounds, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. In developing countries, where access to healthcare and vaccination services may be limited, the burden of rabies is particularly acute. Overwhelmed healthcare systems struggle to cope with the influx of rabies patients, many of whom face long waits for treatment or lack access to life-saving vaccines. Rabies is a silent killer, claiming thousands of lives each year in developing countries. The lack of awareness, limited access to healthcare, and inadequate infrastructure for rabies prevention and control all contribute to the high mortality rate associated with this deadly disease. And yet, amid the darkness, there are stories of hope and triumph. A handful of individuals have defied the odds and survived rabies, thanks to early diagnosis, prompt treatment, and the tireless efforts of healthcare workers. Their courage and resilience serve as beacons of hope in the face of despair. But let us not forget the countless lives that have been lost to rabies, nor the millions who continue to live in fear of this silent killer. As our journey into the heart of darkness that is rabies comes to an end, let us take a moment to reflect on the harrowing truths we have uncovered. From its insidious origins to its devastating impact on human health, rabies is a foe like no other, a relentless predator that lurks in the shadows, waiting to strike without mercy. But fear not, dear viewers, for knowledge is our greatest weapon against the darkness. By educating ourselves about rabies, taking preventive measures, and seeking medical attention promptly if exposed to the virus, we can defend ourselves against this silent killer and save lives. We extend our deepest gratitude to you, dear viewers, for joining us on this journey and for supporting efforts to raise awareness about rabies prevention and control. Together, we can shine a light into the darkness and conquer the terror that is rabies. So let us stand together, united in our resolve to combat rabies and safeguard the health and well-being of our communities. Thank you for watching, and may we continue to work together towards a world free from the horrors of rabies.
It's frustrating because no one could seem to tell us what to do.
In fact, neighbors were told by someone at Animal Control to just let the raccoon go on its way. That wasn't going to happen. They were worried about the kids, so they trapped it themselves.